Welcome, genetically altered rats and mice, and also giant horned owls to Geek Salad Dress Show Movie Reviews from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And tonight we conclude Ani-MAY-tion month with a look at an 80s classic, in my opinion, Don Bluth's best film ever.
I'd put American Tail above it, but
Okay. All right. But I am, of course, talking about the title that you saw when you clicked on this, and that is The Secret of NIMH.
which sounds a lot better than The Secret of the National Institute of Mental Health.
Yes, exactly. Damn remakes. So let me ask you a question, actually. Have you ever read Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH?
I have. I've read that, and I believe if I recall correctly, I did read the two sequels written by his daughter.
There were sequels?
Oh yeah. After the author died, it was Robert. Hold on, I have this. Robert C. O'Brien.
Okay.
Yeah, after he died, his daughter, Jane Leslie Conley, actually wrote two sequels.
I had no knowledge of that until right now. I knew they made a direct-to-video sequel to the movie, which is dog shit. But yeah. It's funny. I was telling my kids about this when we were watching this, that I had the good fortune of being in fourth grade right before this movie came out, because this came out late in '82.
Yeah,
July. Yeah. Was it July? I thought it was. Yeah. I didn't think it was a summer release. Yeah, take a look at that release date for me, because I seem to remember this being like fall.
Release date July 2nd, 1982.
Okay, I must have seen it a few weeks after it had come out then, because we were all still fumigating over E.T. and Tron and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
and it was 82. I'm sure movies were in theaters a lot longer than they were now.
Yeah, or this might have been the thing that kind of had the slow burn release to it as well, because they were still doing that. But because it was pre-home video. But in fourth grade, I remember this was a book that we read in the library. That was a that was a section of school's library. So, and we had read Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH. And then, to find out that there was a movie coming out within that year was actually really kind of cool. And so it was kind of cool to see it that way. And then, The Secret of NIMH. I could never understand why they changed the name to Brisby. Fuck you, Whammo. Rat bastards.
The thing is, they had actually already filmed and done all the voice tracks, so they had to go back in and get everybody to change every time they said Frisbee to Brisby.
Yeah.
And the problem was John Carradine as the Great Owl not available
at all from life.
Well, no, he did. He died 88, I think. But they actually had to find a point where he said the syllable B. Yeah, and then they had to re-edit that into every single point of the.
Yeah, that's
thank you,
crazy. Whammo. Yeah, seriously. Well, you know what? Some of the fault lies on the legal department of Bluth Animation as well. Though they could have at least made sure this wasn't going to become an issue.
Yeah.
But then again, every flying disc that I've ever played at the beach has always been a Frisbee, regardless of whether or not it came from Whammo or not.
Yeah,
it's like Kleenex or Band-Aid.
And you know what? Once I did throw a Frisbee, I'm like, wait, why isn't that a mouse? I thought it would be a mouse. It never connected with me. Yeah,
so let's talk a little bit about this movie. First of all, a couple weeks ago, there was this whole trend on Twitter of, cite a scene in a PG movie that is genuinely terrifying. And I did everyone one better by showing the teleporter scene gone wrong in the G-rated Star Trek The Motion Picture.
Yeah.
Joe's response was the best. Oh, the screams. The screams. I don't know why I couldn't remember that this is also rated G and is goddamn nightmare fuel between the Great Owl just crushing things where goo is popping out, to the fact that there are more people getting slashed and stabbed in this movie.
Yeah. It's I the first time I saw this, I was probably way too young to really watch this because it's probably been 30 years since I last saw it, and I just watched it today, actually.
Yeah. G-rated for your entertainment.
Yeah.
General audience.
Yeah. A lot of things were G back then.
You know what? And I was telling my kids this, that the G and PG ratings did a lot of heavy lifting back then. They did a lot more heavy lifting than they do now. I am shocked if a movie I see isn't already at least rated PG-13.
Yeah. Yeah, PG-13 took a lot of the weight off G and PG.
Right. And I legit think the last R-rated movie I may have seen in the theater was either Rocket Man or Deadpool 2. It was like, it's been a while since I've seen an R-rated movie in the theater. But yeah, this is a G-rated film. And it's just, so straight up, the animation of this movie is absolutely gorgeous.
I was like,
there were all right. I know. I think I know where you're going with this. There's a lot of stills.
You can tell that this was the very first animated movie of this studio, and they were working with a limited budget and a limited crew. Like when Mrs. Brisby is walking through the going to see the great owl being chased by the spider. It's like the spider is in one cell and Mrs. Brisby is in a different cell, and Mrs. Brisby is like lit completely differently than is.
Okay.
And for what I'm sure was a very small crew, especially compared to Disney animation at the time.
Yeah.
It was decent. It was decent animation, but I'm not going to say it's absolutely gorgeous. Sorry.
Right. But a lot of the all right. So let me restate. A lot of the concepts that they utilize, especially when you get to the like under the thorn bush.
Yeah. Okay.
That stuff looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job animating the whole flashback story of how the rats became intelligent, how the mice, how Ages and Jonathan were the only two mice who survived.
Yeah.
That stuff was really, really well animated. Like the farm. It's like, okay, just move the crane to this side of the picture. Now let's move to this side of the picture. Definitely, there's no animation going on there. That's all camera movement.
Right.
But I thought that character design worked well. I felt like there was definitely a difference between mice and rats. The rats all had a different, for the most part, had a different look. Oh, any speaking rat had a different look, because there are some rats, they just kind of Xerox the same rat over and over and over again, especially when they're trying to move the cinder block. Dragon looked fantastic.
Yeah, that weird eye of his was very striking.
Yeah, my daughter asked if Don Bluth has something against cats, because cats are always the big villains in.
I mean, in American Tail, they're the villains, but I mean, Tiger is also a hero. So
okay.
Again, Dom DeLuise, Dom DeLuise character.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. But just back to the animation, it's interesting because you think about, like, Don Bluth had 3 substantial movies, all in the 80s, and they were, NIMH, American Tail, the first Land Before Time.
Yeah.
After that, it was this just cacophony of stuff that, why didn't this go direct to video? Troll in Central Park, Pebble and the Penguin.
Oh yeah.
Until we get to Anastasia, and even Anastasia, I think, has aged like milk. It looks okay. It's very heavily rotoscoped in a way that drives me nuts when I hear people call Ralph Bakshi a genius, because it's very, very rotoscoped. Which I understand, traditional 2D animation trick, but still.
Yeah. Bluth also got into the video game market.
Oh, that's right, because he did Dragon Slayer the next year, actually. Yeah. 83 is when Dragon Slayer came out. A game that was nothing more than a devourer of quarters.
Yeah.
Because
all right, put it this way. Oh, you didn't do it in time. Put another.
Yeah, exactly. A game that would have benefited from us having the internet and a walkthrough.
Yeah.
And you still can't effectively replicate that at home.
No.
At all. But yeah, I mean, this movie is. I love Jerry Goldsmith's score.
Oh yeah.
In this movie, I don't know where we kind of lost the plot about Jerry Goldsmith being an amazing composer, because I really feel like his name does not get brought up nearly as much as it should. Think about some great movies and themes that he did. He did Alien.
Yeah.
He did the music for the first Alien movie. He did The Omen, which is what he won an Oscar for. It's only Oscar. He did the Next Generation theme.
LA Confidential.
He did LA Confidential, which is one of my favorite movies, and it's a gorgeous theme. So Jerry Goldsmith's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved I loved the score in this. I felt it worked really, really well. There's nothing about this movie that feels cheap, which is
the song. I mean, while we're not still in music, the song was done by Paul Williams.
That's right. I think he was detoxing at that point, though.
And I honestly, every time I hear like the tune for that song, it's a great song. I hear the tune, and I'm like, falling in love again. Oh wait, no, that's not no wrong song.
Wait, no, wrong one. No. Yeah, no, it's interesting too because it's got Jerry Goldsmith behind the music. It's kind of, you can usually identify a Paul Williams song, especially because as fans of the Muppets, it's like, early Muppets and even Muppet Christmas Carol. Those are all Paul Williams songs, and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's good that he was still, getting work back then during what is essentially the dark period of his career. It is. I mean, I think that what they managed to pull off with this movie, with the budget that they had, the skeleton crew of animators that they had with this movie, I think they did a really good job. The one serious knock I'm going to give this movie is the over-reliance of Dom DeLuise as Jeremy. And this is a thing that continues throughout the lesser Don Bluth movies. I don't think Dom DeLuise did voices in American Tail or
no, he was definitely in American Tail.
Okay.
Yeah, he was Tiger, the big cat that was actually became Fievel's friend.
Okay.
And he was one of the main characters in American Tail too.
Okay.
Which was
he's also right, but I don't believe that Don Bluth directed American Tail 2 though. It came out of Amblin. I know it came out of Amblin, but I don't know if it was a.
Wow. Okay. Well, let me look this one up. Actually,
you look that one up while I talk about the over-reliance of Dom DeLuise, and then he shows up in all the terrible stuff. I'm fairly certain he probably showed up in Rockin' Rooster or whatever that one was, or the Pebble and the Penguin, and he's definitely in the Troll in Central Park.
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh God,
I was
about All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Yeah,
probably for a reason too. I think in the grand ranking of Don Bluth '80s movies,
that one's hard for me to watch.
It is. God, yeah, it's.
Yeah. Fievel Goes West was not Bluth. Yeah, that was Amblin Entertainment.
Right. But considering that essentially he had just freshly acquired, as we've discussed in the Waking Sleeping Beauty documentary, Disney animators to help him with this, I think on a technical standpoint, based on what he had to work with, this movie, you couldn't tell this movie is essentially a ragtag operation.
Yeah. I'm beyond the over-reliance on Dom DeLuise's Jeremy.
Yeah.
Which, like the whole scene where the Auntie Shrew and the kids have got him tied up, that scene could have been completely dropped.
There's a lot. there's a lot of the conversations that Jeremy has that could have been cut.
Yeah.
I understand you need to give the movie some levity. Otherwise, it's just like, let me show you how your husband died. Oh, I'm dead. Stab, 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 stab.
Yeah, but the movie's only like an hour and 22 minutes, and you can tell that they were like, we can't have it at an hour 10. We got to add more. So they just roll a whole bunch of scenes to throw in there.
Hey, this is all good. My wrist is killing me. You need to include this in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in there, and there's.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like watching the show, and it got to the point where Mrs. Brisby had just met with Nicodemus. I paused the movie. I'm like, holy crap! I only got 20 minutes left in the movie.
Yeah.
It is a very, very fast-moving movie.
It is. I feel like they, even with stuff like, the kids tying Jeremy up, it makes very efficient use of its time.
Yeah.
There are no pacing issues with this movie. It does move at a very, very steady clip. I remember this movie being longer, which is odd for a movie that doesn't go 90 minutes.
Watching it was like, I thought that more happened in this movie. It is really a very small scale movie. Not a whole lot happens, but it's still not bad.
No. And it's, again, I have, there are just some issues I have with kind of the overall storytelling of American Tail. I primarily hold everything I hold against Land Before Time has to do more with the fact that it begat 1,000 sequels, each one more interminable than the last one that preceded it. And I totally forgot about All Dogs Go to Heaven, but even still, All Dogs Go to Heaven. All right, let me put it this way: you mentioned Dragon's Lair. I'm kind of feeling like after the Secret of NIMH, every movie seemed like it was being generated through a Dragon's Lair AI. Does it?
Yeah, I mean, I will always have a soft spot in my heart for American Tail. I love that movie. Haven't seen it in a while, but I just still loved it. But it seemed like after that it was like, hey, let's do Dragon's Lair 2. We don't have enough money for Dragon's Lair 2. Let's make a movie somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Then we'll make Space Ace.
Yeah. And then we got to sell to Amblin.
Yep. Honestly, could have been the best thing for them because they had solid financial backing at that point.
It actually wasn't Land Before Time, wasn't that Amblin?
Yes. Yeah. As was the American Tail.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right.
But I don't believe that All Dogs Go to Heaven was. All Dogs Go to Heaven was released under MGM.
Much like this one actually was.
Right, exactly. It was actually technically United Artists. But yeah. Which is always weird seeing that old UA.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like seeing the old Universal logo pop up.
No.
Just like the one from the 80s where it's just the globe and Universal. And then it just...
Or Universal International.
Isn't the fact that it's international make it Universal? Yeah. Universal make it international? And now it's like... Because I just started our next movie that we're going to be watching, and that Universal thing. So there's your clue. It's Universal.
It's only taking over, 100 years of history?
Oh my god, yeah, exactly. And now it's just like, and I feel like that logo has been around forever. It's just like that Universal comes at you now. It's like, ah! If I was going to make a picture for Universal, I would demand to use the old one with the plane flying around it.
Yeah.
Like the old sepia tone. Like, where you can't read Universal because it's reflecting off the glow behind it.
By the way, did you notice in the credits who voiced Martin Brisby and Cynthia Brisby?
Will Wheaton and Shannon Doherty. I was just going to get to the voices, actually. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, too, because, they both went on to do other things.
Yeah.
I mean, Will Wheaton now is like king of the nerds, and Shannon Doherty is doing Hallmark or Lifetime. Where do we think she's at? Where has she landed? Hallmark or Lifetime?
I'd put her in Lifetime.
Okay. It's also funny, too, because I forget, and then listening to Verbal Diorama when M covered Heathers, I always forget that Shannon Doherty was in Heathers.
Oh, yeah.
She's the third Heather.
Huh.
So
I've never actually seen Heathers.
Okay. Yeah. But the other members of the cast, Elizabeth Hartman really had a sweet voice. I think this was like the last thing she did. She got sick. She died like 5 years after this came out.
She did die 5 years after this, but it wasn't from a sickness.
Oh.
She jumped out of a window.
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
oh.
She'd been having some major depression issues.
Oh.
And, yeah, this was her last movie.
Oh, dear. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yikes. I don't know why I thought she had been going through an illness. I must be confusing her with another actress.
Yeah.
Derek Jacobi. So here's the thing with Derek Jacobi as Nicodemus. He's a contemporary of Ian McKellen, and I would say they're roughly about the same age. Probably about they're like 80 something now. Yeah. This movie came out 40 years ago, which means that he was in his 40s doing The Old Rat.
Yeah, I most remember him as briefly he was the Master in Doctor Who before the Master regenerated into John Saxon. I forget who played him, but
John Saxon.
Well, that's the name of the Master.
All right.
But yeah.
Then there was there's Peter Strauss.
Yes.
As Jenner.
As Justin.
Justin, that's right.
Yeah, it's Paul Shinar as Jenner.
Yeah. Quite evil.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I get it. It was like 82, but he was such a like, let's kill him and stay here and steal all the power. It's like, why did Nicodemus just let him do what he wanted? Because he was playing like, I can see everything. Oh, look, he's going to kill me. Oh, let's let him do whatever he wants. Yeah, whatever.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, and John Carradine as the Great Owl, as we mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. He gets the one scene, and then please tell me there's a bee somewhere in there. Please tell me there's a bee somewhere. The voice cast is actually quite good. I mean, there were certain things about it that like totally tropes stolen from Disney. The mice, like Timothy is very much like one of those Robin Hood children.
And the whole, like, honestly, bring in the whole mystical element, because that's not in the book. The book,
it's not
no mysticism at all. That one is clearly, it's like, well, let me see, every Disney movie has a mystical element, so you know what, that's what I'm more familiar with. Let's bring that in.
We managed to become intelligent, and then we could see through time and space.
Yes, and we have this amulet that can do magic things.
Jonathan, get this thing.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I guess they are trying. They've been trying for about 5 years now to remake this. There's like trying to do like a live action CG remake. That was in the plans, and I think there was like a mini series planned as well. And that one was announced just like 2021.
Okay.
An animated mini series.
All right, and that's one of those things I could easily see end up on a streaming channel somewhere. Like I mean, the book itself isn't that long.
No.
So if you're not doing like just one thing, maybe you just do like a 3-parter or something. It would be interesting to see too, because as we see with like Disney live action remakes, they're 85% all CG. Live action remakes are whenever they have to anthropomorphize animals, they still look like animals, just that their mouths move.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really hope that they actually give the mice some, if they're going to make it look realistic, I still want them to wear clothes and, wield weapons and stab and kill each other. And
it's probably been about, like, again, 30 years since I've read the book. I don't know if it's been longer than that for you or not.
40 years. I've never, the book was read to me. I never read the book. I tried to have Scarlett read it a few years ago, and she just could not get into it.
Yeah, I don't remember if the whole, like, Jenner and Justin thing was in the book, or if that was just invented for the movie.
Jenner and Justin was in the book. Justin dies in the book. Nicodemus lives. Justin dies in the book.
I did remember that Nicodemus survived.
Yeah. And that was actually what surprised me the most watching the movie. That's actually something that happened.
Yeah. Well, you had to have the hunky love interest survive.
Yeah. Don't do it. Your children will be abominations.
They'd be rat and mice hybrids. No.
It is forbidden, though it is not illegal. So overall, I really enjoyed watching this again. My kids love this movie, which is really nice. Something that isn't super modern. That's like a 40-year-old movie from one of the greatest years in cinema history. I said one of the, so I'm not going to take any disputes on that. But if you were to go back and look at the years in the last 40 years of movie making, 82 is a big one.
For me, 84 is probably the bigger one.
84 is also a big one too. 84, 87, 89.
Yeah.
Which is almost half.
I don't remember what else came out in 82.
E.T., Tron, Poltergeist, Blade Runner, Secret of NIMH.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just to name a few.
Yeah.
So.
For some reason, I thought Tron was like 80.
No, it's 82. I remember I wanted so desperately to see that movie in the theater, and nobody would take me to it. I was 10.
I'm so sorry for you.
It happens. I own it on DVD, and now I can watch it whenever I want on Disney Plus. Life is good. So anyway, that was The Secret of NIMH. We'd love to know what your thoughts on this movie. Please leave a polite comment below. Give us a thumbs up if you're happy with our review of The Secret of NIMH. Also, hey, folks, we do this every week, so give us a subscribe. That way you get the retro reviews as they happen. We do record these live, so if you see the stream, you can feel free to jump in there and make comments as well, and check out our full playlist of retro movie reviews. Next week is the month of June, and so full disclosure, we are having a 3 review week next month. It's because I'm going on vacation. I'll be out of the country.
What? Hold on. A 3 review week?
A 3
review
month. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. I will be out of the country at the end of the month, so I will not be able to do a review then. It'd be very difficult.
Stay where, or else he'd have to kill every single one of you.
Exactly. So we're just going to leave that alone. But for the month of June, we are going to introduce Jurassic World month, where we review Jurassic World, Jurassic World: The Lost Kingdom, and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and Jurassic World Dominion. We hope to have some special guests on here. I'm waiting to hear back from one person, but we will have some special guests to join us, because I know some of us have an axe to grind, and it will be a fun time talking.
We've both seen Jurassic World. I've seen Fallen Kingdom. He has not.
I haven't seen Fallen Kingdom or Dominion.
Neither one of us has seen Dominion yet.
Right. And the last time I saw Jurassic World, Mike, was when we saw it in IMAX 8 years ago.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's going to be fun. So anyway, folks, that is next month. Check that out. Also, Mike and I host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You can check that out wherever you get your podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. We are there. You can also follow us on the socials at Twitter at Geek Salad Radio and on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. You can also get all of the podcast stuff here on YouTube as well. We do stream the audio here. So when the podcasts are released, you can get that. Current episode is our riff of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And we have a new episode coming up. We're recording tomorrow. So within the next couple of weeks, you are going to get our look at our favorite TV series finales. So that should be a fun one. I got one more on my list to watch tonight to see if it bumps anything. So if you're a Ted Lasso fan and it's Tuesday night, you know. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to not let recency bias hit me that much. But anyway, folks, until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.